Good morning. Please rise in body or spirit to join us for our gathering hymn, number 55 in the gray hymnal, or the lyrics will be on your screen, Dark of Winter.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal. Gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
Good morning, and please be seated.
Good morning. Welcome to this Sunday service of the Eno River Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Durham, North Carolina. I'm Reverend Daniel Trollinger, Executive Minister, and whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever your race or gender identity, whomever you love, and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If you are visiting for the first or second time, we invite you to rise in body or spirit so we may give you a proper ERUUF welcome. If you're watching on the live stream, please introduce yourself in the chat. Thank you for choosing to spend your Sunday morning with us. If you have children or youth with you, they are welcome to attend one of our religious education classes held in the Care Building, the building next door, right after the Time for All Ages, when the children are sung out. We also invite you to attend the Inquirers class for visitors and newcomers that's held in the Care Building, also after the service. Fellowship hour with tabling and coffee is in the fellowship hall after the service. If you smell cookies baking, those are not for you. The youth are, unfortunately, the youth are baking cookies for Urban Ministries today, both in the Care Building and in the fellowship hall. The coming of age youth have a fundraiser. They're selling candles and soap to support their summer trip to Boston. Right after the service in the chapel, Jonathan Sheeline will be leading a plant-based eating class. On December 14th, that's a Wednesday, in the evening, there will be a Jazz for the Holidays service in the sanctuary featuring musician Shauna Tucker. Please see the ERUUF website about upcoming program and services. There's a 'a lot going on in December. 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 'a lot going on in The ERUUF Christian Fellowship has created a beautiful service for today to celebrate Advent. The music is provided by Riverfolk. Pam DeLavore and Christy Chilton will be our cantors. Kate Lewis is on piano. Michelle Sager and John Fellheim, our tech team. Jim Van Verth on sound. Now would be a good time to turn off any electronic devices or place them in worship mode. Let's center ourselves. Being present in this moment, let us begin worship.
As far back as Neolithic times, humans have set aside several weeks during this month to honor the rebirth of the light as the winter solstice. Solstice is seen as the reversal of the sun's ebbing presence in the sky, a time for new beginnings, and in Roman times, it was celebrated with the abundant presence of candles, symbolizing the quest for truth and knowledge. The Christian Church saw the advantages, theologically and practically, of placing the celebration of the birth of Jesus among the popular festivals of the winter solstice. And the modern Western Church molded those weeks of winter celebration into Advent, the season we mark today, a season of reflection, a time to slow down and seek some quiet in the long winter nights, and light candles in the dark to remind us to hope. Today, in our own rituals, we follow this tradition. We gather as people of faith with joys and sorrows and gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
While humans have celebrated the winter solstice since Neolithic times, the Advent wreath is a more recent tradition. The concept of the Advent wreath originated among German Lutherans in the 16th century. However, the modern Advent wreath was the creation of a Protestant pastor, Johann Heinrich Wichern, in 1839, as he tried to engage and soothe the impatient children in his congregation during the 4 Sundays of Advent. The 4 candles in the ring signify those 4 Sundays and each Sunday's theme: hope, love, joy, and peace. 3 of the candles are purple or blue, which are the traditional church colors for Advent. The themes of those purple candles are shifted around by the different religious traditions, but the 3rd Sunday's theme is always joy, called Gaudete Sunday, from the Latin for rejoice. The joy candle is the rose pink colored candle. The 5th candle in the center is white and lit on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning to celebrate the child's birth. The light has come. As this is the 2nd Sunday of Advent, we will light the first 2 candles, 2 purple candles. After each prayer, please repeat the phrase, "Let in the light." We light the first candle for hope. Hope is the desire and the search for future good, a good perhaps difficult, but not impossible to attain with God's grace. May we look forward to the future with expectation of good to come. Let in the light. We light the 2nd candle for love. Real love is a matter of choice, an absolute choice to enfold another into our own life's flow and routine. In real love, we stand open to inevitable, essential, and deeply personal transformation. May we remember that love is a verb. Without action, love does not exist. Let in the light. Let in the light. Our next hymn will be number 226, People Look East.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us. People look east, the time is near of the crowning of the year. Make your house fair as you are able, trim the hearth and set the table. People look east, love the guest is on the way. For us be glad the word is bare, one more seed is planted there. Give up your strength, the seed to nourish, that in course the flower may flourish. People look east, love the roses on the way. Stars keep the watch when night is dim, one more light the pole shall brim, shining beyond the frosty weather, bright as sun and moon together. People look east, love the star is on the way. Before you sit down, please take a few moments to turn around and greet your neighbors.
Good morning. I am wondering if I could invite our smallest people and our mediumest people and even our largest people who like to feel like our youngest people to come down and join us on the chancel for a little story. I enjoy that enthusiasm. Or as I might say, enthusiasm. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, ooh, you've got a good mask design today. Oh my gosh, you've got a good mask design too, wow. Well, our service this morning is about Advent. How many of you have ever heard of Advent? A few people, some people. Advent is the weeks in December that are kind of getting people ready for Christmas, those people who celebrate Christmas. And there's some themes to the week, and like Stephen had said earlier, last week was hope, and this week is love. And so we have a story today that is about both hope and love. And from this title, what holiday do you think this book leads up to? Christmas, yes. Spoiler alert, this book leads up to Christmas. It does not hide that very well, and that's great. And there's a lot of things in this book that are about hope and love and excitement for something happening. So let's get started. Something was coming. You could see it in the way the snow whirled and twirled, making hills and bumps, in the ways the children lay in the snowbanks, making angels, their arms spread wide as if to say, welcome. How many of you have ever seen snow? Okay, you've seen snow. How many of you have ever seen snow? If you don't have your hand up, I realize you might have always lived in North Carolina, except for last winter. Something was coming. You could see it in the way the snowman's eyes sparkled, and in the way icicles dripped in the sun like hourglasses, counting the seconds. What do you think's coming? What was that?
The side.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe Christmas. Okay. But no one noticed the trail of footprints that wound around the barn of the bushy-tailed squirrels huddled outside the door. No one. Oh, can you say this first line with me? Something was coming. You could hear it in the voices of carolers that echoed through the streets and in the chime of church bells. This thing that's coming, do you think, is it a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a great thing. A great thing? Do you think it's a great thing? You don't know, right? Does it sound like it's a scary thing? No, it doesn't sound scary, not from the way the story is designed. You could hear it in the crinkle of wrapping paper and the hiss of scissors curling ribbon. In the flutter of paper snowflakes pressed against the window panes. In the happy cries of children trimming the tree. How many of you have decorated a tree? A few people? Yeah. Maybe not everybody, but many people decorate a tree. But no one heard the jingle of cowbells, of the shushing of the mother hen quieting her chicks. No one. I'm starting to see a pattern here, and I wonder if you're going to see it too. Where are we right now? Are we inside or outside? Outside. It is very pretty. Now where are we? Inside. Something was coming. You could smell it in the scent of cinnamon and spice that permeated the air, in the odor of pine that tickled your nose each time you passed through the hallway. You could feel it in the stiff winter air that hovered around doors and window frames. You know that cold air that happens? I felt a little bit of it lately. Begging to come in the warm fire dancing in the hearth, in the stockings asking to be filled. Something was coming. Oh, and where is this page? Outside. Yeah. But no one noticed the pig's little tails curled in excitement, or the ears of the billy goat upright and alert. No one. Although maybe you're starting to notice. Something was coming. You could see it in the way the children crowded around the manger, in the way the 3 wise men solemnly offered gifts. So the people on the inside, what are they getting ready for? Christmas. Yeah. I wonder what the animals on the outside are getting ready for. Maybe solstice. Ooh, interesting. But no one noticed the barn lights begin to blink, or the sheep who nodded knowingly to one another, as if to say, "Meh, it won't be long now." No one. It sounds like they're getting ready for something. I wonder. What do you think it is? Interesting theory. Something was coming. You could taste it in the sugar-coated air that wafted through the house, and the cookies spread across the counter, like the cookies that you all are going to help us make in a second. In the gingerbread house, trimmed with mounds of white icing. But no one noticed the fresh bed of hay in a corner of the barn, or the wide-eyed winter owl who stood watch. No one. No one, no one. Now this one's outside, but it's about the people on the inside. Something was coming. You could see it in the way the frost made the patterns on the window panes as if writing a secret message. You could feel it in the way the children tossed fitfully in their sleep, in the way the mother horse paced back and forth in her stall. Something was coming. The horse is pacing. No one heard the jingle of sleigh bells approaching as the clock struck midnight. No one saw who put the gifts under the tree and filled the stocking, or who ate the plate of cookies and carrots left on the table. No one, no one, no one. Don't give it away. Oh, and here's what they were waiting for, the animals were waiting for. No one heard the quickening of life as the new pony entered the world, or saw the mouse running to spread the news. And no one knew who placed the star above the horse's stall. Because indeed, someone was born, a new pony. Yeah, it was. Lots of delightful things are happening around us every day in the midst of Christmas, in the midst of every season, and we hold out hope for those wonderful things. But in the morning, everyone knew that something had come. So thank you for sharing that time with us with this story. And now our religious education time has already started, and I hope that you precede me and wait for me in the hallway, and I'm going to help guide us over to make some cookies for Urban Ministries today. I'll see you there in a second.
Our reading today is a poem by Jan Richardson called How the Light Comes. I cannot tell you how the light comes. What I know is that it is more ancient than imagining, that it travels across an astounding expanse to reach us, that it loves searching out what is hidden, what is lost, what is forgotten or in peril or in pain. That it has a fondness for the body, for finding its way towards flesh, for tracing the edges of form, for shining forth through the eye, the hand, the heart. I cannot tell you how the light comes, but that it does, that it will, that it works its way into the deepest dark that enfolds you, though it may seem long ages in coming, or arrive in a shape that you did not foresee. And so, may we this day turn ourselves toward it. May we lift our faces to let it find us. May we bend our bodies to follow the arc it makes. May we open and open more and open still to the blessed light that comes.
Please join me now in a spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, we gather together today to celebrate and to remember. We celebrate joy in this season of light, a time of wonder, a time of sharing, a time of hope. We celebrate the gift of song, carols and hymns, familiar and new, feeling the power of music to connect us to something deeper within ourselves. We celebrate fellowship, the gift of gathering heart and soul in this place, just as we are, to create beloved community. And we remember to move through this season with care, to slow down and be mindful of the light everywhere around us, in colorful displays, in a candle, in the sun, in our own heart. And remember the light of love that calls us to our sacred purpose. As a welcoming and radically inclusive fellowship, where we value the humanity of all who come through our doors. As a vibrant, diverse, engaged community where spirits are nourished and love finds action. As a visible force for justice, equity, and compassion in our community as we live into our UU values. We remember people all the world over who have been forgotten, who are marginalized, who are in crisis, and who may have lost hope. We remember those in our community and in our own families who suffer, who mourn, or face the everyday difficulties of life. In a spirit of unity and compassion, together, we lift up all of our prayers, feelings, and blessings, and honor this moment together in silence. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.
what Advent means to me. What does Advent mean to me? It's a time of expectant waiting and preparation for the celebration of the birth of Jesus. We are commemorating the birth of a man who changed history, being his authentic self. This has even more meaning for me now because I am trying to live my authentic self as a minimalist. Was Jesus a minimalist? A minimalist lives life based on their intentions rather than just reacting to circumstances. I see Jesus as a minimalist. He was born in a manger because there was no room for his parents in the inn. He started life homeless, born in a bare minimum of a shelter and sleeping in a bed of hay. As he grew up, from childhood to a man, he shared his wisdom with those who would listen to his stories. To many, he sounded so wise for his years on earth. He dressed in clothes of the common man. He didn't waste time figuring out what to wear to please others. Rather, he spent time thinking about mankind and how he could contribute to a better life for us all. He ate bread, fish, wine, basic staples in the home back then. I noticed that he didn't drink wine in excess to cloud his vision or dream. He talked to people of all classes and ethnic groups about his dreams of mankind loving one another as one tribe on earth. And yes, he walked everywhere, unless someone offered him a ride into the city on a donkey. Yes, Jesus was definitely authentic, and I shall strive to be authentic too.
Observing the season of Advent at home came rather late in my life. From childhood into my young adult years, Advent was strictly part of the church year in the Roman Catholic tradition. Sunday mornings, the Advent wreath at church was lit, and I heard about why the birth of Jesus was so special. Then it was back into the rush of Christmas and preparing for celebrations with my large extended family. Then I got engaged, and my future mother-in-law took me aside, and she said, "In our family, we never decorate for Christmas before December the 10th. That was my husband's birthday, and I got the message. And as we began to create holiday traditions as a couple, and as Christmas festivities out in the world drifted back deep into November, I realized that if I did not create some quiet spiritual space in my home, by December 25th, I'd be thoroughly sick of Christmas. And my husband shared that because of his seasonal affect disorder, his favorite holiday was the winter solstice. The days are getting longer, the sun is coming back, yay! As a progressive UU Christian, I feel little connection to traditional Advent teachings of Jesus as the Christ or his second coming. So my spiritual practices during Advent grew to embrace the turning points of the season. First, I'm anticipating with joy that the darkness and all that it symbolizes, fear, bad times, shootings, sickness, is moving back into balance with the light. Hope, love, joy, peace. Second, I'm looking forward expectantly to the birthday of a child who, as an adult, would lay out the way, a path of living in compassion, gratitude, surprise and awe, and essential goodness, a path I try to follow every day. Both of these events, both of these rebirths, to me, sparkle with hope. I give myself permission to be still for whole minutes at a time, reading a meditation, lighting the Advent wreath, sitting on my deck watching the woods just shimmering with life. I walk a labyrinth, visit at least one Christmas lights display, attend the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert, yes, and take one afternoon to read an uplifting book, all done with the words of the wreath as my focus. Love, joy, peace, and hope. Always hope.
A reading from the Gospel of John. Before time itself was measured, the voice was speaking. The voice was and is God. This celestial word remained ever present with the Creator. His speech shaped the entire cosmos. Immersed in the practice of creating, all things that exist were birthed in him. His breath filled all things with a living, breathing light. A light that thrives in the depths of darkness, blazes through murky bottoms. It cannot and will not be quenched. A man named John, who was sent by God, was the first to clearly articulate the source of this light. This baptizer put into plain words the elusive mystery of the divine light so that all might believe through him. Some wondered whether he might be the light, but John was not the light. He merely pointed to the light. The true light, who shines upon the heart of everyone, was coming into the cosmos. In the Christian liturgy, this reading from the John of Gospel is always read on Christmas morning. The first half of the reading sets the stage for the second with the use of the phrase, the Word. This is a translation from the classical Greek term logos, which more broadly can mean universal divine reason, and is meant as a reference to the traditional Christian belief of Jesus being the physical manifestation of that message from an all-powerful Creator. The second half of the reading focuses on John the Baptist, a first-century Jewish prophet. John's key role in Christianity is that he foretells the coming of Jesus as the Messiah. Many of his followers thought John was that promised Messiah, but as written in the Gospel of Matthew, John preaches, "One who is more powerful than I is coming after me. I am not worthy to carry his sandals." Further, the Gospel of Luke even suggests a family connection between John and Jesus, and that John, quote, leapt for joy in his mother's womb when hearing the voice of Jesus' mother. The implication being that even before birth, John is foretelling that something special is coming. So while Advent is traditionally about anticipating and preparing for the birth of Jesus, the story of John the Baptist adds a different sense of hopeful anticipation. In this case, that the adult Jesus will, in fact, be the Messiah foretold by the Old Testament prophets. In John's description of the one who follows him, There is a sense that the anticipation is soon to be realized. The belief that the light is the physical presence of God among humanity in the form of Jesus. But how might the story of John the Baptist be relevant for us today? The first half of the reading describes how, since the beginning of time, we have been waiting for the unquenchable light which will defeat all darkness. And the second half hints that its arrival will soon be here. But waiting for a promised Messiah or some divine light to come and fix the world's problems can seem like misplaced hope. You wouldn't be alone if you asked yourself, well, if that's the answer, how bad do things need to get before it happens? Dr. Martin Luther King famously said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." In an opinion piece for the website The Hill, Congresswoman Shontel Brown writes, "But the arc of the moral universe is anything but. It does not bend towards justice on its own. No, it only does so because people pull it towards justice. It is an active exercise, not a passive one." Perhaps, rather than passively waiting, we instead take John's words as a call to action. How do we each find our own way to bring the light of hope and change into the world around us? So while we can have a hopeful anticipation for a world which represents what you describe as the beloved community, we shouldn't be waiting for someone else to do the work to bring it about. We should take John's story not as a call to wait, but for ourselves to be that light, to plant that hope, and to be that catalyst for change.
Have you noticed yet, during Advent, excuse me, it's all about the hope. Sure, love, joy, and peace, they're here, but the season radiates hope. Hope surrounding a birth, the natural rise of light from darkness, and the future. But why does hope seem important and so important right now? Well, for one, it's cold and it's dark. Add in all manner of financial, social, political, personal, and public health upheaval over the past year, and then mix in a good shot of upheaval over the Christmas season. It makes for an overwhelming flood of negativity and uncertainty. But it does make great soil to plant some hope. Advent evolved over time in response to that churned up soil. During Advent, you're given permission to call time out on the end of year chaos, sit still for a few minutes, and look thoughtfully inward. Amid the Christmastime chaos, you'll have to work a bit to get into this sitting still thing, but the effort will be worth it because you're going to create for yourself an Afghan of hope. I crochet, so you're going to get needlework metaphors this morning. Sorry, soccer fans. You're going to create an inner Afghan that you can use to practice hope for yourself. Well, why do you need to practice hope? Remember that put on your own oxygen mask before you help others? The idea of renewing hope within yourself is not just for you, but for all of those you will touch and want to serve. Well, when do you know you need an infusion of hope? When you feel a D word, doubt, distrust, disappointment, despair, discouragement. When do you know someone else needs an infusion of hope? When they express the same feelings, or you see a need that you can fill. Like a real-world Afghan, your Afghan of hope will take a bit of discipline and practice to complete, so let's get started. First, let's review what hope is. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines it as a desire of some good accompanied with at least the slight expectation of obtaining it, or a belief that it is obtainable. Hope is the belief we hold during tough times that things will get better. Hope can drive a man insane, as Red points out in Shawshank Redemption, or it just might drive a person to build a better future. Hope is not faith. Faith holds certainty, like I have faith the sun is going to rise in the morning. But hope, as Emily Dickinson says, hope is the thing with feathers. And it's like a muscle. It weakens if it's not used, hence the Afghan. Like the real Afghan, your Afghan's going to need blocks, but you get to pick them. Those things that give you a sense of hope, that inner glow of optimism. So think about people, movies, an organization, activities you do, a leader you admire, or music. Once you have a list of these things, make a point to engage with them often. These are hope blocks. And in some ways, hope is an act of will. So here are some of the hope blocks I use. I watch Steve Hartman's On the Road segment on CBS religiously. I sometimes note 3 acts of kindness I've witnessed during the day. And sometimes I might watch an episode of The Orville or Hallmark's Signed, Sealed, and Delivered series. For more ideas, please check out the Advent Resources for UUs, a document we've made available to you. The link is noted right beneath today's service description on the ERUUF website. It will be there as long as that service recording is up. And it's also in the chat of today's service video. So once you have your hope blocks all put together, then plant the hope. When I asked Christian Fellowship members about planting, they suggested, treat people as I would be treated, encourage those I meet, provide a little bright spot in the day to those I encounter. Go about sprinkling acts of kindness and positivity to all. Show others acceptance. Help someone find their passion. Small, hopeful, powerful actions. And here are some truths about the planting. We must plant hope without any expectation that we will see the end result. We hope that one day this hope will grow and influence the next generation. Planting hope creates positive ripples that impact others, and we are impacted by others' hope ripples. Our interconnectedness gives us power. Because of that power, we can accept that as individuals, alone we cannot solve all the world's problems. But we should persevere because one person can make a difference. As philosopher James McCaskill reminds us, mountains erode because of individual raindrops. Using our Afghans of hope, let us be raindrops in the world, eroding hopelessness as we go. May we look forward to the future with an expectation of good to come. May it be so. Amen.
To keep a large congregation running, it takes a village of time, talent, and treasure. Please offer your gifts now in the collection plate. If you don't have anything tangible to place there, go to the ERUUF website and click on Give in the menu and go from there. Thank you. We give thanks for all the many gifts that support the building and sustaining of this beloved community. We especially give thanks for the gifts of the Christian Fellowship for this service today. Pam and Christy will now lead us in our closing hymn.
Please rise and body your spirit. For number 318, We Would Be One, and the lyrics will be on your screen.
We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which finds our hearts and points us on our way. As when we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Our closing words are by Jan Richardson, A Blessing for Traveling in the Dark. Go slow if you can, slower, more slowly still. Friendly, dark, or fearsome, this is no place to break your neck by rushing, by running, by crashing into things you cannot see. Then again, it is true, different darks have different tasks. And if you have arrived here unawares, if you have come in peril or in pain, this might be no place for you to dawdle. I do not know what these shadows ask of you, what they may hold that means you good or ill. It is not for me to reckon whether you should linger or you should leave. But this is what I can ask for you, that in the darkness there be a blessing, that in the shadows there be a welcome, that in the night you be encompassed by the eternal love that knows your name. May it be so. Amen.
like something's coming? Yeah. I mean, did not I just say, please play me in the story? Yeah, but you